everyone. Welcome to BizTalks Unplugged, candid conversation on business, presented by INR The Insight Room, where we open the floor to unrestricted and unscripted dialogues for curious business minds. Insurance, in theory, is one of the critical pillars of any economy. It protects individuals. Insurance, in any theory, is one of the most critical pillars of any economy. It protects individuals, stabilizes businesses, and enables long-term. Yet in practice, especially in emerging markets like India, insurance continues to struggle with issues of trust, accessibility, and penetration. At the same time, the industry is undergoing a profound transformation driven by technology, the AI, regulatory evolution, and the urgent need of financial inclusion. To help us understand this transformation, which is profound in its very nature, we are deeply honored today to host Professor Manoj Kumar Pandey, an accomplished academic and industry expert with over 2 decades of experience in life insurance sector and marketing across India and international markets, including leadership roles with LIC and in the Gulf region. Today, through this conversation, we aim to go beyond theory and understand how insurance must evolve to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. Thank you, sir. It's an absolute honor to have you with us today. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Srijan, for invitation, and I hope I can fulfill your expectation. It's nice to be on this particular platform. You people are doing a great job in spreading whatever little knowledge we people have with the young generation. So thank you very much for this invitation.
Thank you, sir. As we proceed, sir, it is vital for us to tell you that the session itself is more of a freewheeling conversation. You may ask any question to us as we address, and we will try to address it as capability that we possess. So as we begin, our first segment is around the early foundation and the industry entry. It sort of highlights that a person's journey sort of complements the individual's future prospects and how the person begins to think about the life itself. So, sir, can you sort of show some highlight on the journey that you had from Banaras Hindu University to the LIC, corporation, and how this exposure to the insurance markets began?
Okay, so I finished my MBA from Faculty of Management Studies. Now it is known as Institute of Management in 88-90 batch. So during those time, placement from campus was not that way regular or very systematic. And that was the era when even the students like us were also looking for the government job. That was the first priority, to be honest. Anyway, I was lucky to have got a job in the textile sector. And my very first exposure was in Gujarat. So there was a spinning mill, so I joined there. And I believe that in the last 36 years, perhaps the biggest learning is not from the core job, whatever I was given or I was supposed to do, but rather meeting the people from different states. So I started my career in Gujarat. So almost 2-3 months I was in Gujarat. After that, I was posted in UP. So I stayed in Kanpur and I used to travel to Azamgarh, Ganj to Nuwara. There is a place near Jhansi, because my job was to sell yarn through the dealers. So that job was for almost an year, but we were giving interviews in different opportunities. And I was lucky to have got a job with IIM Ahmedabad as a research assistant. So 1991 was with textile sector, roaming around on the street, dealing with the dealers, and most important, loom owners, handloom and power loom owners. And mind it, they are not very literate. They know their job, but dealing with those kind of people gives a different kind of experience. Whatever we were taught in the marketing course in the university, that was very different. Now coming to IIM Ahmedabad, again, a very different experience. And there I could understand why IIM Ahmedabad was IIM, and it still continues to be IIM Ahmedabad. Because the same kind of degree, but the pedagogical change was immense. I mean, in 1990, we had just one computer in our director's cabin. And there in IIM Ahmedabad, after 1 year, I could see that there was a computer lab and so many things. And there I got attracted towards teaching professional. But anyway, that stay was also very long, and not very long, only 1 year. And then I got selected in LIC. Initially, I was a little bit hesitant because I was liking the culture and the environment of IIM Ahmedabad, wanted to go in academic line itself. But again, Sarkari Naukri, class 1 job, etc., etc. So I joined LIC. So till that time, I had exposure of Bharuch, I had exposure of Kanpur and the rural belt of UP. And then again, city like Ahmedabad. In LIC setup, I got trained at JTC, Journal Training Center, Agra. Then I had a 3 or 4 month stay in the branch training in Indore. And after that, I got posting in Andhra Pradesh. So there I stayed for almost 3.5 years. Then got transferred to Bombay, very big city. I mean, continues to be the big city, different environment. Then I served in LIC setup in Bihar for 7 years in 2 different places. Then got promotion. Again, I went back to Ahmedabad. From Ahmedabad, I went to Oman. So all these years, around 14 years in India and plus 3 years in Oman, was with LIC. So in Oman, I was heading the country operation. In Oman itself, I resigned from LIC and joined a private sector in the CXO role. And there I served for 2 years. So I could see so many places, so many people, different culture, different environment. I mean, people vary from state to state, customers vary from state to state, and that exposure perhaps is the biggest learning. Of course, after that, I was lucky to be back in academic, which was my dream job in 1991-92, and I joined BIMTech. BIMTech because BIMTech has got an exclusive MBA insurance course. So I could fit into their requirement, having been served in the industry for 20 years. And for last 14 years, I am with BIMTech. Now, so it's like a dream come true. Initially, I thought of joining academic, but it took almost 17, 19 years for me to come back. So I'm very happy over here. And here again, we have to deal with the different batches. Every year, one batch is passing out, another batch is coming. And again, industry connect is very well there. So perhaps, if at all I have to summarize, the more of the learning was coming from interacting with different people and different strata of people, different batches of people. And that's the biggest learning.
Thank you, sir. Very illustrious journey, I must say, that you have had, so forth. But one of the key questions that most of the young generations, the Gen Z, have in regard to the academic line of field as choosing it to be the landing that they want to have. They believe that somehow that the professors who are teaching at the academic institutions continue to remain, sort of stuck there, and they believe that they are growing. But so how can you how can you sort of bring a solution to this mindset that the Gen Z right now is having?
No, they are not wrong. To be honest, if at all you exclude the top 100 institutions, the industry connect at majority of our institution, be it engineering college or even management college, is not proper. That's the reality. Because here in Greater Noida itself, we have around 60 or 65 educational institutions, and I can see the quality over there. Now, unless until you are there in the top, the future is not that great. I mean, it's not that safe. That is also reality. We have seen that in spite of all that ho-halla and all that NAC rating of A+, this, that, I mean, the employability is still a question mark. Different surveys are coming, and those surveys are not wrong. That is a fact. Being in academic line, I believe there is a gap. There is a gap because in institutions of DTech or MBA, they are not having a proper tie-up with the industry. And industry is far ahead of us. This is a reality. But those organizations, those institutions, we are trying to have a good industry connect through guest lecture, visiting faculties set up, sending the students frequently to have exposure of the real life situation. They are managing it well. So I don't deny whatever the statement you made. This is a reality, and we have to do a lot of work. Unless until we have the industry academia connect in a real sense, things will not improve. How it is going to have, it's a very challenging, because from the industry aspect also, I feel, I mean, this is my reality because I am very much engaged in that kind of activity. Earlier, the organizations were ready to give time, energy in building up the new resources. Now everyone wants a ready-made item. कि बंदा एमबीए करके आए और कल से हमारे यहाँ बिजनेस करके धंधा लाना शुरू कर दे. I mean, this is a sad affair. Though the government of India is trying to have this sort of internship schemes, and they are even giving incentive for industry to have this kind of hand holding, but desired level of outcome is still missing. So this is the time of summer internship for MBA school for next 2 months. My own assessment is that only 50% internship are real internship, where the students are being exposed to the different line of operation. Otherwise, most of the places people say, okay, this is a project, you can do it. That's the unfortunate part. So whatever you said is right, and we have to do a lot of work in this particular aspect.
So one of the biggest problems during internships, although we are going a little off the topic, but still relevant nonetheless, is that most of the supervisors, trainers, they believe that the candidate in question is here only for 2 months. So even if there is a sort of level of reluctance from their side that they are not ready to spend effort into training the candidate to get that individual some real business world problems and the exposure, and sort of give them the project and say that okay, your job is to just finish that, and we can move accordingly. So is this any way right, or is this sort of reforming?
I think, Srijan, the problem is in the attitude and the way things are moving in with the passage of time. कभी कभी मुझे लगता है कि कलयुग है, शायद यही यही रीत है. Otherwise, industries should take this internship job as their corporate social responsibility. They have the responsibility of grooming the next talent. Even if the boy or the girl is there for the 2 months, they should take it seriously. Again, if at all you permit, I can share my own summer internship experience in '89. I was with JP Riva Cement. It was also for the 2 months. But the first month, they paid a stipend. I was eligible for all the benefit. I mean, traveling and boarding, lodging expenses equivalent to their sales officer. And the first month was, they had structured the training that we went through each and every department of the JP Riva Cement, including a 10-day stay at their plant in Riva. And only after that 1 month, we were supposed to go out and do the survey of the dealership network. Now, that was a structure. We got exposure of the cement industry as a whole. Now, that is missing somewhere. Now, so what is the difference? Maybe those guys who were responsible for our summer internship, they took it as a missionary mode. That yes, my job is to train these guys, irrespective whether the boy will come back to us as an employee or not. Now, that zeal, that machinery is missing in majority of the cases. I mean, I should not take the name. The fact is that many of the organizations are, because see, guys are intelligent. They know the subject. They are utilizing them as a cheap labor. एक छोटे से प्रोजेक्ट में जहां उनका काम चल रहा है उसको लगा देते हैं और वहीं 2 महीना बंदा रहता है, काम करता है, लेकिन उस बच्चे को पूरे इंडस्ट्री के बारे में ओवरऑल नॉलेज हो ही नहीं पाता है. This I have seen, and I'm sorry to say this is not good. So my request to the industry people, I mean the viewers, maybe the listeners, that please take summer internship, be it engineering graduate or MBA graduate, as your social responsibility mission. Contribute to that. Don't expect anything in return. So that's my request to the people who could and who are in a position to offer summer internship.
So you worked with LIC for 14 years in India and again 3 years in Oman, and then you joined the an organization as CXO role for another 2 years. How would you, sir, see the difference between the Gulf market and the Indian market within the insurance and the marketing sector, and what could we do to improve upon it?
See, these two markets are totally different in a sense that India being a very vast country, big country. And when I was working with LIC, and even I understand, the life insurance portfolio is very dominating. And barring the last, maybe you can say 6, 7 year, 8 year, when the insurance is being promoted as insurance, in our time, initial career, even up to 2010, 12, till this time, subprime crisis came in, insurance was sold as an instrument of saving only. And we Indians are known for the saving. be it fixed deposit or maybe share वगैरह तो बाद में आया है. Otherwise, when we joined industry, there were only three avenues of saving for the Indian middle class. One was LIC policy, second was bank MIS or post office deposit, and third was bank FD. Things have changed a lot, there's no doubt. In Gulf, the dominance is coming from the general insurance. So there, the life insurance portfolio is very limited because being a Muslim country, there is an aversion of also life insurance. Wrong or right, I'm not going into that particular debate. So there, the life insurance portfolio is limited to the compulsory group insurance portfolio, which normally it is expected that every employer will give a term insurance plan coverage to their employee. Yes, that is dominated by the motor, fancy car, costly car, and then, infrastructure is very good in the Gulf countries. Then there are compulsion. Medical is compulsory over there. Every employer has to provide health insurance. The health insurance is a big portfolio, which is not there in our case. In India, providing health insurance cover to employees is not a mandatory cover. And then oil and revenue, infrastructure. So I'm summarizing, simply saying that while in India, the life insurance dominates, in Gulf countries, it is the general insurance which dominates the entire scene. In India, life insurance has always been, continues to be one of the instruments of saving. In Gulf, they are a little bit averse, and it is only a compulsory item, compulsion, which drive the sales over there. So these are the two main difference which I could face there. And in LIC operation in Gulf was very small compared to whatever we have in India. I mean, it was not even worth a branch which I headed in 2002 to 2005, volume-wise. But yeah, it was an international exposure, and everything we were supposed to do like a company only. So that exposure was good, barring the volume of business.
Very insightful, sir. And must say that the volume or the gravity of the impact that you came upon through your work is really remarkable, sir. So as we proceed, our next segment is the insurance reality check. This segment focuses on the fundamental product problems that the Indian industry faces in terms of insurance. So, if I recall correctly, during the late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's time, the US imposed sanctions on India under the Super 301 to open four of its key sectors, the insurance being one of them. And till now, based on the limited knowledge that I have, that the insurance sector is almost 100% open. One of the key questions that still emerges is that why is the insurance penetration still low even to this very day, sir?
So this is a long history. I mean, insurance sector was opened, of course, what you said, right, from the compulsion or the force from the Western countries, led by America itself. And in 1991, LPG, I mean, which was brought in by Manmohan Singh and PV Narasimha Rao government, was the opening. But it's still, insurance is a very touchy subject. If you go back to the history, then till 1956, Indian insurance sector was opened up. There was no public sector intervention. We had thousands of companies operating in India. But after our independence, and maybe after 5-6 years, the government realized that there were complaints also. So government realized that they needed money for the building of the nation. So the life insurance business was nationalized in 1956, and then came the LIC of India. So LIC of India was amalgamation of around 260 life insurance company, and one company was created. And if at all you read the objective of formulation of LIC, it was all about channelizing the saving of the Indian masses for the nation building. That was the very first objective of LIC, followed by, of course, spreading the message of insurance, giving protection, etc., etc. So starting from 1956, LIC continued till 2000 as a monopoly in India. In the meantime, in 1972, even general insurance industry was nationalized and 4 PSUs came. So the purpose was protecting the Indian masses and simultaneously channelizing the resources for the nation building. Now, the government of India is the biggest borrower of money from these PSUs. Now, as the government company, union was there, so many things. So it took almost 10 years for the government in those time to get the sector opened. As a young LIC officers, even we have lost our salary opposing the privatization of insurance sector. But anyway, वो बोलते हैं ना जो जिस चीज समय आ जाता है उसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. So in 2000 finally the sector was opened up. Now coming back to the penetration part. So here I will like to clarify one thing. Normally, when we talk about the performance of the industry, we use two words. One is insurance penetration and one is insurance density. Insurance density is nothing but per capita premium income, where the insurance penetration, by name, it suggests that it should be the number of people covered through insurance. But the definition is how much is the contribution of the insurance industry in national GDP. Now, so there's a big confusion. The moment you say that India has got an insurance penetration of only 4%, I'm sure 96 people out of 100 will assume that in India only 4% people have got the insurance cover, which is not the case. It simply says that Indian insurance sector contribute to 4% of India's GDP. So even if the insurance industry is growing exactly at the same rate as our GDP is growing, the penetration will remain same. Unless until the insurance sector growth outpace, and that to be the big way, because only 4% contribution, it is not going to happen. So it has seen the ups and downs. If I am not wrong, maybe during 2009-10, it has gone up to 5 also. And it came down to 4. Last year it dropped further. That means maybe not, it is a fact. Our economy has grown a little bit higher than the insurance sector as such. But having said so, there is a spread of insurance. Government of India has done a good job. The entire industry has got a good job. Technology has helped, and the number of people covered has gone up tremendously. So, I mean, I don't have the data of the private sector, but LIC itself has got around 30 crore live policy. Live policy means enforced policy. Similarly, I'm sure 15 to 20 crore policy holders will be there with the private sector. In health insurance, 5 to 6 crore policies are there in the individual capacity. Then around 12 to 13 crore people are covered through the group insurance, through employer. And the biggest contribution is coming from the government of India itself, through Ayushman Bharat Yojana, I mean that government policy, PMJY, around 50 crore. So don't feel that we are not spreading. We have a spread. Of course, in the technical term of insurance penetration, which is a matrix, we are stagnant, but in real on ground, things are improving. But a lot more is to be done. Like in spite of having a compulsory motor insurance, not more than 60% of our policies, I mean, motor are insured. This is a very big gap. House insurance का कोई concept ही नहीं है. You talked about Gulf and India. No, in Gulf country, every building has to have insurance cover. Unless until you have insurance cover, you cannot open an office. In India, that kind of compulsion is not there. So चीजें बदलनी चाहिए, बदल भी रही हैं, लेकिन it's not that we are stagnant. We are doing reasonably well.
So what are some of the key markers that would you recommend for this house insurance policy to set up in India? And what are some of the sort of on-ground realizations that you would suggest for government or the private bodies in place to make this sort of awareness among the people as well, that it is a mandatory need, not a just a showcat?
2-3 things are always there. See, even in marketing class, we always get, there is a category of product which is known as unsought. Fortunately, if at all you ask any student, any professor, the very first product which will be demonstrated as an example will be the insurance. होता क्या है कि in our own life, though we see things going wrong in our environment, but we always assume that we are safe. I mean, just 2-3 days back, there was a big fire in one of the high-rise building in the Ghaziabad. I mean, 6 or 7 flats have got gutted, simply gone out. Similarly, we see so many. I mean, it's just day before yesterday, there was an accident in Jabalpur that ferry got capsized. Okay, so The moment we start realizing that, yes, even we as an individual or as a family or as a business owner have risk associated with our own life or our own business, insurance sale will not be a problem at all. But unfortunately, that awareness, that realization is missing. But again, I'm saying things are improving because of this social media. I mean, I see so much of beautiful ads coming at appropriate time. You have mentioned also about embedded insurance. That is the perfect way of pitching for insurance. But anyway, we will discuss it. So two things. One is that awareness is increasing. Um, Even the organizations dealing with insurance, be it Life Insurance Council or General Insurance Council, having seen the success of Mutual Fund Association, SIPA mutual fund hai to acha hai. They have also started a campaign for the life insurance and general insurance. Government of India itself is pushing at part of its financial inclusion. So the two flagship insurance scheme through banking channel, and that one personal accident and one in life insurance has done really a good job. And then coming the role of compulsion. So I believe that in India, of course, we are very democratic and any good initiative will be opposed by so many people. But some sort of compulsion is required, even in home insurance. If not in individual home dwelling, at least in commercial buildings and office building, it has to be made compulsory. Unless until you have, like Gulf, unless until you have insurance cover, offices cannot be opened. So that compulsion should come. Strict, vigilance on even on the motor insurance. I mean, right now we have got technology like FASTag, where every toll naka automatically the money is being deducted. Why can't we just have one check there? Unless until the vehicle is having insurance cover, it will not be allowed to pass through the toll naka. It is doable. 6 years back, in one of the competition, that student competition, our students have got first prize for proposing this compulsion itself. That put like now RFID bolte na technology ko, and
Yes,
that's doable. Only thing is that some push, some enforcement is required. So as far as home and vehicle is concerned, I believe that it should be done. Similarly, of course, people will cry, the employer will cry. Compulsory health insurance for the employees. In USA, we have. In Gulf, we have. If at all you are employing people, you are supposed to give them the health insurance cover. So some sort of compulsion from the government and the different machineries, and simultaneously our own awareness, which is coming slowly and slowly through different very fancy advertisements. I'm sure things will improve in further. And technology is also coming in a big way to help us.
so one of the recent surveys by a big newspaper across India sort of stated in its report that it is widely perceived that there is a trust deficit in the insurance industry, a genuine structural challenge rooted in the misaligned incentives and the past mis-selling practices. What, according to you, is it largely a myth amplified by isolated incidents, or is it some form of a lack of financial literacy among the customers?
You raised a very valid question, and perhaps in insurance sector right now, this is the biggest discussion point. It's not that the mis-selling was not there earlier, but what I believe that now the people are much more vocal. There are organizations, there are individuals who are customer centric. They are helping them also, and social media itself. See, I am in this industry for last 30 years. If at all I take my academic part also, it's not that insurance industry is not doing. But having said so, I also believe that there is a problem in the entire setup. Somewhere the intent I don't find that it is very good towards the customer. Maybe profitability, maybe running for the top line, saving the bottom line is getting into the decision making in the claim settlement area, and more so, which is the most sensitive area, that is the health insurance. If at all you see the social media narrative, you will find that almost 80% complaints are all about the health insurance. And there are genuine reasons. Reasons mean there are genuine cases, I am not saying. Even if insurance industry is doing wonder in 90% of the cases, even they should not have anything wrong to do with the 10% cases. So I don't deny, Srijan, that there is a deterioration. Even I have seen cases where the intent is questionable. Perhaps the insurance industry believes in delaying and harassing. I'm not saying all the cases, all the companies, but there is a trend. And I have many examples because being in insurance industry, I have this opportunity of guiding people, helping people. So there is a trend. In my own family, I have experiences where things were not proper. So yeah, government has taken up, public pressure is building up. But again, I believe this is a part and parcel of the whole commercialization of any business. Things move good as long as there is a balance between the public sector and private sector. Because see, in government sector, people don't have incentive of not settling a claim. उनका promotion नहीं हो जाएगा. But in private sector, that finance matter. There is an incentive if you can show a good claim ratio. I mean, good ratio from customer, not from customer point of view, from the company point of view. I will just give you two examples. My daughter had been to USA and she got a travel insurance policy. Unfortunately, she met with an accident and right leg she got the fracture. Very good setup in USA just because she had a policy, travel policy, and also the counter guarantee of my brother-in-law, uski mama jo the. She was treated, she was discharged, and the hospital bill was in Indian currency 32 lakhs. Claim was lost. First month was very good. Everything was moving. I mean, all inquiries, this, that. American hospital was not pressurizing us for payment. But after 1 month, when everything was complied with, there was a total silence from the insurance company. And whenever we send a mail, the standard reply was that your claim is under evaluation. It took almost 45 days, and then we started getting pressure from the US hospital. Baba, kahan gayi policy aapki? Kind of situation. And I had no option but to contact someone, very powerful person in the industry. He recommended my case to the CEO of that particular company, and you will believe, very next day my claim was settled. Now, I understand why they were delaying. This was almost in the beginning of the month of March. Perhaps they were trying to delay the settlement of claims so that their bottom line can improve by 32 lakhs of Indian rupee. So there's no justification. The moment there was a recommendation, next day the bill was settled. Now, this kind of things, I believe, is coming from the wrong intent. उनको तो claim settle करना ही करना था, लेकिन delay क्यों? Now, similarly, I have 2-3 examples like this where I personally believe that there is something not so good happening in the insurance sector right now, which is very dangerous for the industry. And that is what you said, the trust deficit. Again, I'm saying in 90%, 95% cases, things are moving smoothly, but this 5% will create a wrong impression and people will feel cheated by the insurance company.
Thank you, sir. You answer some of the most fundamental questions that prevail into the trust segment of the consumers. So our next segment is about the technology and the insurance tech, which is we shortly called as InsurTech. We have seen the AI integration into the various segments of business, be it the AI in the underwriting and claims, the digital transformation, the customer engagement and evolution. So, what according to you, what do you feel that is the technology genuinely solving the core insurance inefficiencies, or we are just merely digitizing the legal or you can say the legacy frictions at scale?
Incidentally, in morning itself, I was reading one report by McKinsey. They have given a report, perhaps to Government of India or maybe RBI. I don't recall it. And it talked about that AI in banking sector. See, they were talking about banking sector, and banking sector is expected to be much more advanced than the insurance sector. What they are saying that AI is not giving the full fruit benefit just because they are supposed to struggle with the legacy system. Now, in insurance sector, the legacy system is much more complicated, much more older. So the benefit of AI is not there. That's a reality. Now, here also, I mean, I'm a very fond of technology, and I do teach InsurTech course to my students. And irrespective whether we are happy, not happy, so much happy, whatever may be our status, None of us can deny the fact that the future is all about the use of technology for solving the genuine grievances, genuine services. जिसको बोलते हैं ना friction point, जिसको आप लोग बोलते हैं young generation.
Yes,
So, I mean, we cannot deny the fact that technology is the future. But having said so, at the current stage, again, here things are very dicey. Dicey in a sense that in insurance sector, we have seen a huge progress and very sizable benefit coming at the time of onboarding and sale of the policy. वहां सब अच्छा चल रहा है. Everyone is putting money and everyone is trying to make the customer journey from proposal stage to policy stage frictionless, and tremendous job has been done, no doubt. But there is a catch. In insurance sector, the one of the crucial element at the onboarding is something called underwriting, where you assess the risk of the customer and then do the pricing, and then only you issue the policy. Now, in process of simplification, this underwriting part has been simplified. आप तुरंत किसी को पॉलिसी इशू कर देते हो, but when it is coming for the customer service and when it is coming for the claim settlement, then you start doing the underwriting, which is not fair. So onboarding part has been made very easy. It should not be. Rather, you do whatever you want at the time of onboarding. I'm talking of underwriting process. Make your claim settlement smooth. Claim settlement के समय आपको क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना है, पैसा देना है. So this is the one thing which has gone wrong. I mean, heavily front-loaded kind of solutions has come. बीमा आ रहा है, पॉलिसी आ रहा है, एकदम 2 मिनट में बीमा ले लो, 50 सेकंड में ले लो. That is good, but again, servicing and claim has to be seen. And as we discussed, legacy issue is there. Second thing is that in banking and insurance, you are dealing with the 3 generations. Mind it, in banking sector, you are there, your father is a customer, and maybe your grandfather will also be a pensioner and using the bank. So is the case with insurance sector. Now, the guys means I'm talking of insurance CEOs and CTOs, they believe that having put a system which is digital system is the panacea, is a solution for all the people. That is not at all correct. I mean, we keep giving lecture on design thinking, getting into the customer's shoes, but nobody is doing. Design thinking simply says that you should design your system process looking at the convenience of the customer. But जो हो रहा है वो बिल्कुल उल्टा हो रहा है. हम एक सिस्टम बना देते हैं, हम बाहर से खरीद लेते हैं, and then we expect customers to fit into our requirement. That is the biggest problem. Now you have onboarded a chatbot and you have removed your call center guys. Now a person who is not conversant and not comfortable with a chatbot would always look to talk to a human being, which is not happening. And there are numerous cases where if the system fails, you have to be in a big trouble. Now, this is creating a problem. You cannot have a half-cooked solution in name of technology and that to imposed on your customer. You have to give a choice. कि भाई आपको digital service लेनी है कि आपको manual service लेनी है. But then comes the cost part. Everyone is ready to sacrifice the staff, put a technology solution irrespective whether it is good for the customer or not, and then you are trying to. So this is also a item which is creating a friction. Though the purpose was to remove the friction, but the fact is that friction is being generated because of the half-cooked solution in the banking and the insurance industry. I will give you an example. My wife was to fly to USA. We went for a very renowned, and mind it, whatever example I am giving, they are from the top 5 insurance companies. So we went for the buy of a travel policy. System was down. So the moment we put in the basic input, it said that our system is down. But good point. Immediately a call came from the insurance guy. And that person, I don't remember male or female, she or he was very helpful. And the policy was issued within 2-3 minutes, as expected. I told her, onboarding is very easy now. The moment the policy was delivered in our WhatsApp, then we realized that the gentleman, lady who was helping us had keyed the gender wrong. So in place of Miss or Mrs., Mr. was there in the name of my wife, before my name of wife, and the gender was male in place of female. Immediately we gave a call. Of course, call center guys picked up the phone, they listened to us, and they raised the ticket. That means our complaint was lost. How much time should you take? So-called digital, one minor correction, I don't know. For next 9 days, nothing moved. In spite of 2 reminders to the same customer care, no one is responding. Forget about. And then again, as I am in the industry, I know the people, so I rang the CTO of that particular company and बोला, and he's known to me. बोला भाई तू कर क्या रहा है तेरी कंपनी? मंच पे जाके तो तू बहुत भाषण देता है. And what is the situation? Then only it got resolved. So see the situation. Had there been no mistake in that particular policy issuance, everything was fine. But one small glitch, and then you don't have the solution for next 9 days. It came only when I could connect. अतः पता ना होता कि नहीं होता ये मुझे नहीं मालूम. And my wife was to follow, to fly. बल्कि वो तो चली गई, हम तो पीछे से लड़ रहे थे कि उसका नाम बदल दो भाई, इसको फीमेल को मेल को फीमेल कर दो. So this is the situation where you have got half-cooked situation. मंच की बातें बहुत होती हैं, ground reality, I know the reality. It will take time. I'm not saying that it's wrong. It is happening. It should happen. But you have to have a choice to the customer. You'll be surprised to know that barring IRCTC, I myself has not done any online transaction. Professor हूं मैं, आप शायद उम्मीद करते होंगे, but I am not comfortable. My daughters are doing every shopping for the home. So you give choice, no, but you are not giving choice. You are expecting every customer of yours, irrespective of their generation, irrespective of their comfort zone, to fit into your model. And that is where I strongly differ as far as the digitization and use of AI is concerned in insurance sector.
So one can say, sir, that the digitization is not customized, but more of a general fit that is being forced on people regardless of their choices and regardless of their preferences. But in a digital first insurance world that we see today, for every individual, without reading the policies, without reading the complex procedures of the policy itself, they just use the said apps and then they issue the policy and they just use it for their preferences, be it travel, be it motor, and whatever. What will be the true differentiator in the segment? Will it be the technology, the data, or the trust that is very vital for the sector to grow?
What you are referring is that is something like embedded insurance, because that is something which can be done through technology only, and a very good thing. There is no doubt. But having said so, the real is trust part. Many a time, even the customer is not knowing that they have been insured. Maybe 5-6 years back, the moment you book your airplane ticket, the insurance was coming attached to it. Opt-in, opt-out cases. There is no opt-out option over there. Opt-out option was there, but the system was like that. The policy will be attached until you say no to the policy. Roading business for insurance company. Complaint came. And then the regulator dictated, no, it has to be opt-in option. That means you first book the ticket and then you give a flash that do you want to buy travel insurance along with this particular ticket? Then only you issue the policy. 80% business dropped. That means what? 80% people were paying the premium, but they were not knowing that I have an insurance cover. जब उनको ये मालूम ही नहीं है कि मेरा इंश्योरेंस कवर इश्यू हुआ है, तो कहां से क्लेम लेंगे अगर उनका कुछ घटना दुर्घटना हो भी जाए तो? That is a question. Similarly, you must have seen this all Ola, Uber, they have an option of 1 rupee. To be honest, I wanted to do a research. I did try to figure it out how many claims have been registered and settled under this small ticket size policy. I couldn't get any data. I did send a mail. I didn't get any reply. Customer को मालूम नहीं होता है, उसका इंश्योरेंस हो गया, क्लेम तो आना ही नहीं है. Now, this kind of situations are not good. So it has to be through a proper, awareness. The person selling, whether digital or through the vendor, like if you totally go and buy a mobile phone, the vendor there, the shopkeeper there will suggest you to take the cover for your mobile phone also. That transaction has to be through proper way. Someone there should be there to help and guide कि हाँ भैया ऐसा होगा तो ऐसा. सब लोग digitally literate नहीं है भाई. This is a wrong notion that in India everything is digital. No, that percentage is very less. I don't know, maybe 20-25% people like you. But the moment you go for 35, 30, high people like senior citizen, they are not comfortable in digital way. तो कहीं ना कहीं hand holding, I don't know how. Chatbot is a beginning. Maybe after 5 years it will stabilize and it will be as good as human being. But till that time, people are not happy. तो कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा सा हैंड होल्डिंग का ऑप्शन हमेशा होना चाहिए, particularly in a product like insurance, which requires a lot of sharing of information.
That does seems to be quite the genuine problem that we have addressed. So our next segment is the financial inclusion within the insurance sector, and within this segment, so we sort of go for the main three pillars, which is the micro insurance, the rural penetration, and the policy changes. What, according to you, do you feel that why has the financial inclusion through the insurance remained more of a policy ambition rather than a market reality?
Uh, I may be a little bit biased, but the fact is that this has to be addressed from the different angle also. Public sector versus private sector. See, LIC was there till 2000, and LIC had offices almost in all the district headquarters of India. So was the case with the general insurance. All the four general insurance put together, they have almost replicated the model of LIC. And then came the private sector. Now, within LIC sector, there was a compulsion of having 30-35. But anyway, the branches were there in rural belt. So, dhandha to business to aayega hi aayega. Now, even the latest IRDI report, if you say the distribution of the offices of the private sector is heavily biased towards metro, semi-metro, and tier 1 cities. Now, from where, if you don't have the office in rural belt, how can you get the business? Second aspect. Government of India mandated under PMJAY, Pradhan Mantri jo bhi ho, Jan Dhan Yojana, that every bank will try to sell the two policies. One was 2 lakhs of personal accident and one was 2 lakhs of life insurance. Very damn cheap, to be honest. Maybe I don't know the data because data is not in public domain. Company may be losing, maybe making losses also because the premium was revised. Kindly see the data. Where is the participation of the private sector? The burden is again imposed on the government sector, be it LIC or maybe some of the life insurance companies promoted by the public sector bank, like SBI, like S02 Life Insurance, which is which is promoted by Union Bank of India and Bank of India. So the question is again profitability. When the profitability and bottom line is the only metrics for the promotion of the CEO or his own incentive and the they will prefer to do business in a domain where the unit profit is much higher. In rural belt, it is not going to be very profitable. Even if you are having a break-even kind of thing, that is fine. Now again, everyone is saying that in rural belt we will have policy through digitization. All again, what you said, no, that is more of a policy. Thing is that one has to have offices, if not offices, representative, and then simple onboarding, and more than onboarding, simple claim settlement. Mind it, if you settle a claim in rural belt and the people realize the benefit, 10 policies will come. Luckily, my entire branch manager tenure in LIC was in rural belt. And their one death claim settlement in one particular village used to get 10 new policy. Demonstrative effective insurance is the most important aspect. Somehow, that is not happening. We are onboarding people from the remotest place of Chhattisgarh because the premium may be 50, maybe some subsidy. But the moment it is claim, problem. You must have seen about the crop insurance, how much complaints are there in the crop insurance. Government flagship program, but delivery part is poor. So फिर मैं याद हूँ बिजनेस लेने के लिए तो सब डिजिटल अच्छा है, धकाधक बिजनेस आ जाता है, फटाफट आ जाता है. But when it comes to the claim settlement, वो डिजिटल चैनल काम नहीं करता है. They have not given equal thrust to the claim settlement aspect. I'm not saying that things are not happening, but it is to be demonstrated in a big way to make rural people opt for insurance. अभी भी जो rural belt में हो रहा है, it is all because of the push factor. The agent is there, representative of even private sector is there. They are known as POSP, point people of people of sell point. No? That good model, POSP bolte hain. It is happening. Even government is pushing through different, Bima Trinity बोल रहे हैं, Bima Bahak वगैरह, जहाँ की female only agents will be there. लेकिन मामला है कि profitability and unit cost, वो challenge अभी भी है.
So what will be this sort of the real bottleneck to this inclusion? Is it the distribution gaps, the product design, or the lack of, sort of this trust awareness relationship among the consumers and the on-ground, individuals who are selling the policies and all?
Of course, awareness and realization that insurance should be a part of our life is the biggest issue. But the second biggest issue, if at all you are asking from the rural perspective, is the profitability. Are we making money doing this exercise? And the moment you go on the Excel sheet, perhaps you would find, and everyone will say that huge potential, this potential, rising India, rural India, Bharat versus India. But the moment you go back to your Excel sheet and then you find that selling policy and servicing policy in rural, and it is costly, there's no doubt about it, is not profitable, then the insurance company will prefer to do just whatever is mandated by the regulatory authority as far as rural and social sector is concerned. Do you know, in initial phases, many of the insurance companies prefer to pay fine than getting into rural and social sector because the profitability was an issue. And the fine imposed was much less than what they could have incurred losses by venturing into those domains. So again, public sector versus private sector. I mean, I don't know what happened. Am I visible to you?
Yes, sir, perfectly.
So why I have got this cancel? Oh God. Allow, don't allow. Am I there, Sajan?
Yes, sir, you are perfectly visible.
Okay, then why that I'm not getting... Yeah, sorry for this. I got some. So the moment you go to the Excel sheet, maybe that time the CEO and CDO and other people have got the cold feet. That's the reality. Public sector की बात अलग, उनको करना ही करना है, irrespective of the total of profit. They may be making some money from the urban, maybe some loss in the rural, but overall, if they're making the break even, making some profit, that is good enough. But in private sector, quarter to quarter, performance is to be judged. But होगा, चीजें बदल रही हैं. Even in rural belt, as in month of March, I was in my own village in Bihar, and there I could see that government has taken some initiative. Every I mean, at least in my locality, every cattle was having that RFID tag. And then when I inquired from my own uncle, he said कि अरे आए थे, उन्होंने लगा के चले गए, बताया नहीं. But then I could understand that government is planning some sort of, cattle insurance for the poor people in the rural, like crop insurance. कितना success, कितना failure, वो बात की बात है, but it is there. And मुझे भी लगता है कि आने वाला समय रूरल भारत का ही होने वाला है. The way things are happening in big cities, people will migrate, people will find some avenues, and I see a good future for the rural India in coming year.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for enlightening this definitive point. Our next segment, sir, is about the distribution and channel strategy. One of the biggest titan industry players of India, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, said in a ceremony once that if manufacturing is king, the distribution is God. How would you see it right now, the situations of the agents versus the digital platform, and will the traditional agents sort of survive the next decade of the insurance evolution?
I fully agree with Mukesh Ambani ji. और इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में तो पता ना गॉड के भी ऊपर कोई अगर एडजेक्टिव हो, दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल टू द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चैनल. एज आई सेड इन द बिगिनिंग इटसेल्फ, अनसॉट प्रोडक्ट कोई लेना नहीं चाहता है, तो जो लेना नहीं चाहता है उसको बेचो, उससे पॉकेट से पैसा निकालो. नॉट अ इजी जॉब ना. हम लोग कहानी सुनते थे कि गंजे को, जैसे मेरे जैसे आदमी को कंघी बेचना या स्कीमोस को fridge bechna. That kind of story, motivational story we have. So very important. Getting a plan developed at the table is very easy because you have got all the big people sitting in your head office. Actuarial support will come, claim support will come, product design, everything is done. The real challenge is selling of that particular product to the target audience. Now, so there are different, the moment we say insurance, it's a big spread of portfolio. So at one side, you have to insure a petrochemical complex of Jamnagar, which can run into thousands of crore. Air India fleet, again, thousands of crore. And then you have a small village, a small cycle, or maybe even the cattle insurance premium is quite high. But see the range. Within life insurance also, you have heavy premium, and then we have term insurance plans sold by the bank. So the product range, it's very complex. So as far as retail business is concerned, the moment I say retail, it is heavily dominated by the life insurance, health insurance, and motor insurance. These are the three things which drive the retail business. Now, coming back to the corporate, जिसको हम B2B बोलते हैं, again, all that fire policy, engineering policy. So in those area, digital aspect cannot make any big dent. Because there you have to have negotiation, you have to sit across, understand the risk profile, bargaining होती है उसमें ये देना है वो देना है, and even the premium is depending on customization. In retail, things are very easy because the moment you put your age and your health, premium is there. Motor, make, and the quality of car premium is there. So in retail sector, we do see a possibility of people opting for the digital channel. And you must have seen that even the insurance companies are highlighting, companies like Echo, even Policy Bazaar, they always highlight that, no, Policy Bazaar to khud hi agent ban gaya, wo alag baat hai, that they try to disintermediation aspect. Agent ke paas mat jao, hamare paas aoge to sasta milega. Even insurance companies are having their product directly available through their own website. So in retail sector, of course, we see a transaction happening, but still you will be surprised to know that even today, not even 2 to 3% of the policy transactions are happening online. Online ka matlab hai complete online. Of course, there is a big deal of digital mode where people are going, comparing, and then getting their business booked through a particular broker. Even broker have got their own website, comparison site. So technology is helping as far as the comparison part is concerned, convincing part is concerned. But ultimately, the business is booked either through one of the trusted and established business channel. समय के साथ ये बढ़ेगा, इसमें कहीं दो राय नहीं. Even for the last so many years, all the travel policy I have got online. Of course, motor still I go through the trusted broker. In commercial sector, digital will not be helping in onboarding and the distribution. Of course, they will improve the servicing aspect, endorsement, addition, deletion, changes, claim settlement, uploading of the claim file, survey, everything will happen. But sales mein human element will always be there. Now, coming back to the future of the agent, I don't believe that agents are there to go out from the market. Not at all. Agents will get digitalized. Their operation will get a lot many input coming from the digital domain, and they will become much more smarter, much more efficient. But that personal touch is always needed. It will be needed, I believe. Even in America, in England, if at all we believe them to be a superior form, superior country, individual agents are still working and they are dominating the scene. So people will be there. Yes, the digital interventions will improve the efficiency and the way we conduct the business. लेकिन सब कुछ डिजिटल हो जाएगा, एजेंट अपने घर बैठ जाएगा, ब्रोकर का दुकान बंद हो जाएगा, भैया नहीं होने वाला है, नहीं होने वाला है. Because insurance is a unsought product. That's the real thing.
So, as you have highlighted very generously that insurance being an unsought product, and the future of the agents were to remain the same as it requires a human touch, a human connection to make these products available to the consumers. One of the key problems
not only product, mind it, in insurance, servicing is also equally good. Rather हमारा जो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है वो सर्विसिंग और क्लेम में हो रहा है. डिजिटाइजेशन इज नॉट हेल्पिंग ए लॉट ओवर देयर. तो लॉन्ग टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है ना, इट इज फॉर द ईयर्स, इट्स नॉट लाइक वन टाइम बाइंग की ले लिया यूज कर लिया फॉरगेट वाली बात नहीं है. या प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
Yes, sir. Thank you for pointing it out. To be a long-term contract, one of the key problems that I have seen during my MBA days, that most of the students who were to get placements into the companies who are offering life insurance roles for a core sales basis, they sort of feel reluctant to it. What, according to you, would be the right mindset for these candidates to have when entering into the sector? And also sort of a master blueprint, what do you think is how should they approach this craft?
See, if at all you look at the insurance sector, like any other sector, it has got the opening in many fields. So insurance sector not only required marketing guys, it required even doctors in medical insurance. It required, like any other company, chartered accountant, investment people, customer care people, IT people, and the opportunities are, everything is there. Now the question is that why people? So person of my generation, as a faculty member also, this is my complaint to the new generation. Everyone is interested in having a laptop and sitting in the corner of the office. That is not the way. Unless until you generate the revenue for the organization cannot survive. And with all due respect to the generation, you are also the same. You have to be on the field to understand the nuances of the insurance industry. Sitting in the head office in the corner, you cannot understand industry. And not only insurance, any industry, let me tell you. जब तक आप कस्टमर से डील नहीं करेंगे, आप अपने चैनल के पार्टनर से डील नहीं करेंगे, you cannot understand. So this is the complaint even coming from our recruiter, because I am in the insurance sector, I am teaching. उनका भी यही शिकायत है कि आजकल का कोई बच्चा सर हार्ड कोर सेल्स जॉब में, अभी क्या हो गया ना, हम लोगों ने भी कंफ्यूज कर दिया है. एज ए टीचर मार्केटिंग पढ़ाते हैं, सेल्स का जो कोर्स था वो खत्म कर दिया. फैक्ट इज दैट इन सम ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री द सेल्स रोल इज मच मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. रिलेशनशिप बिल्डिंग, engaging with the customer, engaging with your intermediary itself is a big thing. तो मेरा मानना है, and I am very, very blunt in this aspect, because I had been a head of admission at BIMTech for 4 years. Whenever a student was asking, sir, what kind of role profile we would like to get, I used to say, कि अगर तुम्हें लोगों से मिलने में डर लगता है, धूप में घूमने से डर लगता है, then you don't do the MBA. कुछ और कर लो. MBA is all about business administration, and the business will run only when you have got the revenue, and revenue will only come when you are keeping your customer happy and meeting the customer. So, okay, role will differ. Like in insurance sector also, one can go into the hardcore sales job where you are supposed to recruit the agent, build up a team and become a team leader, sales manager. Other aspect can be going and visiting your channel partners. The channel partner could be your banks. There's a role where the insurance company guy is moving in the different banks and motivating the branch managers and relationship managers over there to get more business for their company. That is again, similarly, broking. You move to different broking company and motivate them to do their business. Now the motor insurance business is getting through at the time of sale itself. जो आपका डीलर होता है मोटर का, वो चाहे किसी का डीलर हो, मारुति का हो या हुंडई का हो, they themselves are agent. Official agent. They are known as MISP, Motor Insurance Service Provider. Now, as an insurance sales guy, you are supposed to go and meet them and impress upon them कि मेरी पॉलिसी तुम बेचो, क्योंकि they are open to sell any policy. तो जब तक आप अपने इंटरमीडिएरी से नहीं मिलोगे, that is the first line, and finally the customer revenue कहाँ से आएगा? So my very blunt suggestion to the generation, those who are already people have done the MBA and those who are thinking of doing MBA or maybe in the pipeline, please don't be afraid of hardcore sales and marketing job. वो digital से काम कहीं कहीं चलेगा, IT company में चलेगा, but in sector like insurance, banking, even in banking, how can you keep aloof from your customer? कस्टमर बैंक के प्रेमिसेस में आया नहीं कि आपको जाकर के उसका पहला काम कर देना है और फिर उसको कन्विंस करना है कि भाई ये प्रोडक्ट भी ले लो. So that approach, that attitude, that skill set is very much required to be ahead in the rat race, which is of course a reality in corporate life. एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए. ठीक है, आपको पोस्टिंग नहीं मिल रही, आपको जॉब नहीं मिला उस लाइन में, फेयर एनफ, बट एवरीवेयर यू हैव टू हैव दैट सेल्समैन स्किल सेट in your profile.
Having the right salesman skill in the profile and the attitude is what that is required to, sort of blister and succeed in the hardcore sales, and that will sort of give the candidate the mindset and the knowledge to know about how to bring in the business. So our next segment is about the regulation and the policy. We in it talk about the role of the IRDI and the global versus the Indian regulatory models. So, given your illustrious experience over decades, what according to you think that is regulation in the insurance acting as a catalyst for innovation, or sort of unintentionally preserving the inefficiencies and the legacy players?
No, I won't say that they are preserving the inefficiency and the legacy, because fortunately I am a person, but because of my age, I have seen the pre-opening up, during the opening up, and whatever is happening right now. So I have seen both the side. Our regulator is very proactive. There is no doubt about it. And I will believe that they are rated one of the good in the world stage also. So there's no question of that they are preserving the inefficiency. But there are hardcore realities also. I mean, just 2-3 again coming back to that profitability, and in the very beginning I said that it's kaljug, so cheezein to thodi deteriorate honi hai. That is the way I convince myself when I see something wrong going. Now, I mean, just 3 years back, our regulator, no, everyone says that regulators should not regulate, they should give the freedom of doing things so that people can do well, market will correct itself, so many things. 3-4 years back, the Indian regulator, they moved from rule-based regulation to principle-based. It simply says that in rule-based regulation, the regulator is dictating everything, what is to be done, what is not to be done. In principle-based regulation, they give a broad guideline and they expect the industry people to behave accordingly. It has failed. The moment things have been given in the hands of the organization, it has not resulted into positive. Like they said, okay, do whatever you want as far as your commission structure is concerned, keeping overall expense within the prescribed limit. It has failed. And you must have seen, I mean, if at all you're following, that now 3 years back, IRDI decided not to have any kind of suggestion on commission rate. Now they are thinking of getting it back. So unless until the industry as a whole work with good intention means keeping customer welfare in mind, nothing is going to happen. You know, in Indian insurance sector, it is the cheapest market in the world. Why everyone is ready to grab the business irrespective of the technical costing. Discount dete hain. Fire policy is a very known, there the things are getting down. It's a worry. Is it a principle-based regulation which IRD has permitted? They have permitted, don't quote below your costing. Still you are doing because you want top line. And then if at all you see the pricing of a group insurance policy, group health vis-a-vis retail customers are practically subsidizing the corporate business. It should have been other way around. तो मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि IRDI as a regulator, they are giving lot many flexibility, but the industry and the industry body has to respond it positively and show their caliber and their intent, which is somehow missing. Otherwise, in 2002, we had only 2 channels, either insurance agent or office bearers. Right now, we have more than 10-12 channels. So much of things. IRDA has got its own sandbox approach where the insurance companies are allowed to experiment with the new product in the controlled data set and then launch the product. It's a very famous thing. Everywhere it is happening. Very recently, I mean, FDI has been raised now, and many changes have been brought in. But insurance industry as a whole has to respond. And So much of see the question of health insurance. Unfortunately, there I believe that regulator and the government of India has to do a lot of things, because health insurance is something which is very touchy, and there the premium is going up, up and up. The hospitals are not under control of anybody else. So that's an area where I personally believe that perhaps IRDA has, and why IRDA, Government of India has not performed to the expected level, because for last 10 years there is a demand of having a health regulator, a regulator who can keep pricing of healthcare services under control. But on an average, I will, if at all I have to rate on the 1 to 10 scale, I will believe that IRDA is at 7, 7.5 kind of. Of course, scope for improvement is always there.
So would you agree then that the conditions of the global regulatory models are adaptable to India's unique scale and diversity, or does India need a fundamentally different approach, as you mentioned in the health sector and all?
I think the real challenge of Indian regulator, be it banking or insurance, is our vast country. No? Size is see in UK regulator, for that matter, maybe handling only 13, 14 crore people. I don't know what is the population. Here it's a huge one. But still there is a big scope for getting more companies, more, and they are open. I mean, see, the thing is that the cost competitiveness in Indian market is so that even the outsiders are afraid of venturing into Indian domain. 100% FDI has been made for last 1 year. 1 or 2 small companies have ventured. Still the big companies are not coming. क्योंकि यहाँ इतना ना कंपटीशन में इन्होंने रेट कम करके रखा है कि वो उनको प्रॉफिटेबल दिखता ही नहीं है, to be honest. That is the one reason. Second, of course, there are some other regulatory intervention is needed. And the recent change of that gift city, no, that Gujarat, that is a big intervention. And there, because they are supposed to operate in the global regulatory framework, not controlled by RBI, not by IRDI, a good number of companies have opened their offices. So I'm sure with the learning coming from the gift city, even the IRDI will do some good thing which will facilitate the arrival of the new companies and other things.
So as we move forward to the close end of the session, one of the biggest questions is the future itself. What is the future of insurance looks like in India? And what do you think that in the next decade, who will own the insurance, customer, the insurer, the platform, or the data itself?
So as far as the first part of your question is concerned, absolutely no doubt that insurance has got a big future in India. Reason being, as a carrier, if at all you are asking, because we have a lot more work to be done. The fact is that though I was very positive and I contradicted that definition of insurance penetration, but the fact is that whatever we have done is still almost more than half of the people who don't have health insurance. Half of the people don't have the life insurance. Vehicle insurance, in spite of compulsion, only 60%. Home insurance practically nil. Crop insurance maybe 5 to 7%. Cattle insurance practically nil. So we have huge scope to cover. Even if you imagine that half of the people will not be going for the insurance, still use gap. So potential to have. By all parameter, maybe 7%, 6% growth, India is one of the fastest growing economy. को कोई deny नहीं कर सकता है. We are supposed to destined to go up in the hierarchy in the world order, and we are going to be a Viksit Bharat maybe by 2047. तो जब economy बढ़ेगी, so there is no reason that why should not insurance and insurance business be, because this is totally linked. The moment you are constructing a road, you need insurance policy. The moment you are bringing a aircraft in India, you need insurance. No business, no export can happen without the insurance support. कोई भी ship पानी में जाएगी, उसको insurance चाहिए. So the moment India grow in industry, in our economic, insurance sector's future is very secure. There is no doubt about it. Coming back to the second part, who would own the customer? Now, this is a question where even I am confused. And I'm really sorry to say that there is so much of confusion. This has to be sorted out. Again, I will give you an example. I have one personal accident policy, family. All four of us are covered over there. This I had taken through an insurance broker. Okay? So why I opted for insurance broker? Because I believe that बहुत सारा headache उसके पास रहेगा ना. I should not be involved. Okay? Now the renewal came. Broker gave me a call 1 month in advance, and I told him, okay, I will renew it. Renew it 1 day prior to the expiry date. Why should I pay 6,000 rupee 1 month in like any customer? So my mandate is there with the broker. Get it renewed a day before the expiry. Noted. Yes, sir, I will do. But mind it, I am getting a regular, I'm not getting, I was getting because the renewal has been done. I started getting reminder directly from the insurance company. Why should they send it to me? And irritating. भैया मैं जवाब नहीं दे रहा हूं तो चुप हो जाओ ना. Every third day, please renew, please renew. Okay. At the date of renewal, the broker sent me one link, payment link. I clicked, I landed to the website, I mean the payment gateway of the insurance company. I paid the premium. What as a customer I expect? I expect my policy to be delivered in my WhatsApp channel or through either through directly or through broker. No. Now the insurance company is forcing me to go for the DigiLocker. Why should I'm not interested, Papa? Okay, DigiLocker government setups. I thought let me try. So I clicked. I went to the DigiLocker. Now this particular company and the broker have got all my KYC done. DigiLocker is parallelly asking for my KYC document. So Aadhaar card, PAN card, mail ID, mobile number, agreed. But the moment I clicked, it took me to some vendor's mail ID, website. And there I stopped. See the nuances. Everything is there with the broker, and still insurance company, broker is nowhere in the picture. DigiLocker, and then DigiLocker is taking me to some unverified vendors. Why should I go over there? Now, so the question is very genuine. I believe that the sanctity of the customer should be maintained. If at all I am through broker, my every transaction should be through the broker. This is really a big problem, Srijan. Data privacy is in mess. I mean, I have my policy, motor policy with a company A. Company A will remind me only once or twice, and I will start getting phone call from 10 different insurance company, and they have got the detail of my policy. I don't know from where this data is getting leaked. It's a mess. And into the digital era, this is the most, threatening aspect. And why I stopped at the vendor? Because I didn't trust. मुझे लगा कि मेरा सब डिटेल तो मांग रहा है, नहीं यार, पैन कार्ड मांग रहा है, आधार कार्ड मांग रहा है, मोबाइल मांग रहा है, मेरा ईमेल आईडी मांग रहा है, बचा क्या फिर? This is something very serious, and the government has. I don't know what is the status of DPDP Act. Of course, there is a time frame, but things are not good. On that aspect, we have to do a lot of work. And I will not be in a position to answer that question looking at the situation right now. Everyone is trying to grab the same customer. अरे नया कस्टमर खोजो ना भाई, बहुत लोग पड़े हुए हैं. नो, सबको उसी में से धंधा चाहिए. Sorry that I could not answer the second way. I don't have answer.
That's perfectly all right, sir. So one thing I would say that what this conversation has made very clear that insurance is not just about managing risk. It's about building trust at scale and creating new markets. And in a country like India, the real challenge is not about designing products, but ensuring that protection reaches to those who need it. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such deep insights and real-world perspective with us. It has been an absolute pleasure and such an honor to host you at BizTalks Unplugged on INR, the Insight Room. And thank you, sir.
एक मैं parting remark जरूर दे दूं.
Yes, sir, please.
This conversation, because we are talking on the insurance aspect, so maybe I might have seen a very critical about my own industry, but please be aware. I gave the example of my daughter. Of course, there was a delay, there was a teething issue in getting that particular amount of 32 lakhs. But please understand, only when I had that policy, I could get that 32 lakhs. अगर मैंने पॉलिसी नहीं लिया होता तो 32 लाख मेरे फिक्स डिपॉजिट या मेरे म्यूचुअल फंड से निकल गए होते. So there are issues, there are teething problem, but to the viewers of this particular postcard, my simple request is that please have insurance. लाइफ इंश्योरेंस जो आदमी घर का कमा रहा है क्योंकि उस पर डिपेंड करता है. हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस इज वेरी क्रूशियल. टुडे इटसेल्फ आई हैव जस्ट फॉरवर्डेड ए मेल टू द माय known circle. if you are not having health insurance right now, it's going to be tough, because anyway बीमारियां हो जाएंगी. मोटर इंश्योरेंस तो खैर कंपलसरी आपको लेना ही लेना चाहिए. सो माय सिंपल सजेशन इज डोंट गो बाय द नेगेटिविटी व्हिच आई टॉक इन दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉडकास्ट, बिकॉज दिस इज अ जर्नी. प्लीज हैव इंश्योरेंस. इंश्योरेंस रहेगा तभी आप लड़के क्लेम ले सकते हो. जब रहेगा ही नहीं तो फिर कहां से क्लेम लोगे? सो दैट इज माय message to your viewers, Srijan, and thank you very much for inviting, and good luck to you and your venture, your partner, your team. All the very best.
Hello there. Welcome viewers to